What's up traders, welcome to Failures to Displace. Let's take a look at the London Silver Bullet session today and see how we could have profited from this pretty nice 2.6R setup. Let's jump into the analysis and see what would lead to us taking this trade. So as always, we're going to start with our analysis on the 15-minute time frame. We're going to look at our buy side liquidity working from left to right. So buy side was put in from Friday's high, which was in the New York session. So we've got a nice swing high there, and we can see at the moment we've not really threatened that. We look to be displacing lower. We then have sell side from the New York session below us, and also the previous daily low, which was put in the London session. So those would be our three key areas put in on Friday. So today we have put in a high in the Asia session, kind of swept it and then pulled away very quickly. We've broken the low of the Asia session and we're displacing away from it. So this immediately is giving us this bearish bias at the moment. We're unable to close back into the range of Asia. We've obviously got a lot of inefficiencies here that we put in the New York session. So price could quite easily free fall down to fill some of this gap. We do have this little breaker block here, so that's something just to keep highlighted, I think. It'll be an interesting point of support if we get down there. And also what I'd just like to note is where the premium discount is of the range from Friday. So at the moment we are just above equilibrium, so we're in a premium of the range of Friday. Optimal trade entry, which is quite interesting, is just on this breaker block area. So that would be an area that you would want to be looking at taking profit at the very minimum, I would have said. So going into this, we should definitely have a bearish bias. We have not threatened the highs. We've broken the low of the Asia session with displacement, meaning I'm expecting price to dig lower into this before it has any chance of potentially retracing and going higher. Key liquidity levels would be the New York session low and potentially even the daily low from the London session on Friday. However, we need to be mindful of this breaker block and the optimal trade entry as well. On our larger time frame, you can see we are actually in bearish price action. So we are breaking lower. So potentially this low could be a target. However, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be holding for that length of time, I wouldn't imagine, unless something drastic happens. We've got nothing on the news this morning to be worried about, so there's no red folders in the Euro session. So let's jump onto the 1 minute time frame now and see what kind of entry we could get. And we can see that we have left a fair value gap just prior to the Silver Bullet hour starting. So Silver Bullet starts at 3 AM, and we've left this fair value gap. This wouldn't be an entry for me personally. I want to see a fair value gap created within the Silver Bullet hour. So we can see just prior to the Silver Bullet opening, we've swept some liquidity here. And then we're breaking away. We've had a break of structure. We've got a bit of displacement here as well. So we want to see a bearish fair value gap now to help us get in line with price action, aiming for these targets lower. Say preferably this breaker block optimal trade entry area. Let's see what we get. So, oh, nice big displacement candle. So we've got fair value gap here. So that would be our first potential entry at this point. 5 pip stop loss, 5 pip take profit is my current trading plan. See if we get tagged in. So we haven't got tagged in. Price is continuing to pull away. Now at this point, being a Silver Bullet setup with liquidity much lower down, I would follow this down. So the target really is your optimal trade entry here. We are just about to pass into a discount. So our entry is still in a premium and we're going to be offloading this into a discount. So it still stands if we get tagged in at this fair value gap. So that's the entry done. So we have an order block here. So this is kind of holding us up now, or holding price down, sorry. So we want price to respect that order block. We can also, which is something I like to take note of, is the 50% of the fair value gap. Most ideal situations, we want to see this 50% area getting respected with body closes. So closes above 50% are not ideal. Again, we're closing below the 50. Wick above, oh, closing back down again. So again, respecting more or less that 50% area. Price pulling away aggressively now, leaving another fair value gap. So that's really, really nice. And there is our 5 pips. Let's just see if we can get a clean break through that. So we're respecting this fair value gap now. So yeah, there's a clean break. So that would be me at this point closed out with my current trading plan. However, I am considering changing up my take profit strategy. So my trade management. What I'm thinking of doing is taking 50% off at 1-to-1, which would make this a risk-free trade. I can leave my stop loss there, so if price does pull back, because I've already bagged 50%, I would only lose 50%, so these would essentially cancel each other out. So it could be a risk-free trade, and then I could leave this to run now for what would be the optimal trade entry, just over 2R. And see how this runs now. So this consolidation is one of the reasons why I like to close out in full, because sitting there through this, I'm just not that kind of patient guy. So trading this in real time, I would now be really panicking about price reversing and giving me a break-even trade. Whereas if I'd have just bagged the profits, I'm just done for the day. I'm happy, I can walk away. Let's see how we'll get on here. So create more fair value gaps, respecting the fair. So we've hit the optimal trade entry there. So that's closed it. So it's literally hit the 62%. Started consolidating. Okay, so we've not hit the breaker block yet. It has come back to entry again, which would be really frustrating. So potential 2.6R there, if you wanted to hold out for that and had the idea to close out at optimal trade entry. Again, if you were seeing this consolidation at optimal trade entry, I would hazard a guess that you'd want to be closing out or at least taking more profits here, because optimal trade is always a good area for a reversal. So I hope that was useful for you guys. Nice easy levels. We could see that we were getting displacement below the Asia range, so there was no longs on the card there. The short trade was given to us at the very beginning of the Silver Bullet session, and how you manage that trade would dictate the profit that you were able to take. But there was an easy 2R, 2.6R based on that, if that was your ultimate target. And as I say, I would have closed out at 1-to-1 anyway with my 5 pips. So if you enjoyed the video, found that useful, please leave a thumbs up. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments section below. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you are enjoying the content. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with a New York session market review.